Welcome to Community Crypto on CoinDesk TV, where we are building a global community with local crypto groups. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson, and every week we'll explore how crypto is creating and impacting various communities around the world. This week, we visit the DMV and discuss how historically Black colleges and universities can create and sustain blockchain groups. Today, I'm sitting down with two amazing guests, Sinclair Skinner, Howard University alum, founder of Bill Mari, and organizer of the Black Blockchain Summit at Howard, and Judy Schneidman, program director at the FinTech Center at Morgan State University. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, first things first, I have to ask you, Judy, as the founder of the FinTech Center at Morgan State University, please enlighten us. How did this process start, and how can Morgan State enlighten other groups to start FinTech or blockchain groups?
You're great. I am actually not the founder. I'm the program coordinator, and Dr. Ali Emdad, who is the associate dean of the business school at Morgan State, is the founder, and Sanjay Bapna is our associate director. He is also the chair of the Information Science and Security Systems at Morgan. How can we, we sort of got together because there was really an interest on the part of the students. They really knew about, some of them knew about cryptocurrencies, wanted to learn more about it. So back in February of 2019, the center officially established, and we got a multi-year grant from Ripple to sort of set things up. And I can tell you all about the programs we're doing, but keep going.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to hear more about the programs. But I'm glad you mentioned students were interested. Tell us more about that. How did students get involved to get it started?
So we had a community-wide event and got like over 100 people to hear about blockchain and fintech. And then we held a summit in May of 2019, which we invited people from HBCUs, faculty and students, and had an overwhelming response from students that really wanted to know more and participated in the conference. It's been growing since then.
Absolutely. So you have students who have a thirst for knowledge. They want to learn about blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto, all of these things in a fintech fashion. And I want to ask you, Sinclair, what do you think is the importance of fintech or blockchain groups at the collegiate level?
Well, I think my first exposure to this type of work has been, I went to undergrad at Tuskegee and Howard Universities and School of Engineering. So back in those days, I started back in '87, so I'm kind of old. But back then, we had the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE, and many of their programs allowed our first, opportunities to meet other students from all over the world, talk about different technologies. But it was really geared towards government work. A lot of it was just about government contracting, and it kind of lost its path. And even if I look at the recent, well, not so recent, but the innovation of technology from Silicon Valley, it literally leapfrogged over to Black colleges because they were still teaching folks to work for large corporations. So back then, Big Blue was the thing to work for. I want to work for IBM. We missed all these little bitty companies that became these hyper growth companies. And then, so when we first established our company back in 2015, BitMari, one of the things that we did once we got our initial funding from the Bank to the Future, Simon Dixon's group, we to launch our product, we actually did the first transatlantic bus tour. So we literally took a tour of Howard, Morgan, and this is in 2017, so it's before the FinTech program, but it was Morgan State, Howard. We went to A&T, FAMU, the AUC, Atlantic Clark. We went to Prairie View A&M. Went to Tennessee State, and literally we're engaging students, Texas Southern, engaging students and faculty in the area where it was just popping off. So you remember 2017, it was really a little bit before the bubble really started going. So a lot of people still just were very novice to it. It literally was more of a novelty than an industry. So there were people, you had to toss up. It was between engineering school folks and business school folks. So engineering school folks literally were laddered. They were the folks who were on it first thought of it like a stock. So they said, "Oh, this money I can make." So you had a lot of these kind of get rich quick black folks, and again, it kind of a little problematic because they weren't necessarily interested in the actual algorithms and the protocols that went into it, but they were more about the wealth generation part of it. And then in the engineering school, it took a little bit more. But we did some of the first at NSBE's one of their conferences. We did the first blockchain event there, and then when you and I look, we got together. When did we do with
CIAA?
CIAA Black. When was that?
CIAA in Charlotte, 2017,
was
first
that,
one ever.
Yeah. So the 2007, I think just trying to be pioneers in the place. His term. We're not, discovering nobody, but literally it was really trying to get people to either take it seriously from an engineering perspective and get business people to understand the power of technology, not just the hype of making money and then the scams and the one coins and all the bad. So I think it's been really trying to figure out a good balance between the engineering side and understanding the economics and the financial side, and trying to find a balance with the fact that so much of the money that's going into engineering programs is geared towards government research, making bombs, doing things that are problematic, and not, the days of just like earth-shattering first principle type research. We're not seeing enough of that in the historically black colleges. Much of that, those dollars tied to actual some type of outcome that doesn't allow us to kind of explore, or even the professors to actually have research that they're doing where it's just the principles that are being explored as opposed to some commercial government outcome.
Beautiful. Yeah, and Judy, I want you to comment there. What do you think about that outcome changing?
It's definitely interesting because what we're finding also, you've got the business people, the finance marketing type people who are looking at exactly DeFi and the disruptive technologies around just how it's going to change the whole banking system and everything there, and looking at how you can make money, of course, and
always
there. But we also are doing a lot of outreach with the computer science and the engineering people, and there is interest now in how to program a blockchain, how to what does it look like underneath. And one of the things that we're doing is getting the two sides to work together. So we've done a few pitch competitions where the team has to include business people and and the practical side. So come up with an idea, tell us how you're going to use it, and build it. Actually build a prototype, make it happen. One of the things we are working on is a supply chain use case in the Virgin Islands, because the University of the Virgin Islands is an HBCU, and which I just love. Like, we want to go have a conference in the Virgin Islands, but they've got people from both sides, and they're working together. They're coming up with. They're also working with the Hyperledger project at the Linux Foundation to do the coding, and it's an amazing project because they're really identifying a need within their own community for food, basically for the food supply. Because they're a little island, they keep having hurricanes, and a lot of their food is being imported. While they're growing food on the island, but it's a supply chain problem, and blockchain can definitely help with that. And so they're really working to work with the local farmers to get their produce into grocery stores so that people aren't waiting for things coming in off of container boats and having food spoiling in the fields. So
Oh man,
there's
never good.
opportunities. You say the small things, and people are
Mhm.
coming up with all kinds of applications. I mean, we're also working with some big companies like IBM is there. They're moving into hypercomputer technology also. So you
Absolutely.
know, yeah,
And I
yeah.
do want to comment for those college students who are watching. In the blockchain engineering space, on average, they make about 30% more than the regular
Mm,
tech field because of scarcity. There are not that many blockchain engineers. I've talked to companies. I'm sure you all have as well. There is a scarce problem. They can't find people who can understand this technology and build on top of it. So this is a wide open market, and I think that blockchain groups are a great pipeline to these companies. And I applaud the work you both do. And I want to ask you both. I'll start with you, Sinclair. Name me really quick 3 things, just 3, you think each blockchain group can do when starting their local school. Just name me 3 things they can do to get started and to get it rolling.
Definitely, the classic, what we all know is the meetup. We got to do the meetup. So the first thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I think is in the tech space, is always having a meetup. So I think getting the word out to your friends and family. I always tell people, start with a circle small. You don't have to get everybody, but get some folks who are interested. So start off with that. I think that's the first thing. I think also, getting that access to the white paper. I think it's always like if you're going to talk Bitcoin, you got to talk the language, and we got to talk about it from the context of Satoshi. So making sure you get access to the white paper, I think, is super important. Uh, what would be my 3? I think 3 is a good answer. Um, I think one of the things I always do is always make sure you get everybody's information. When anytime somebody walks in the room, make sure they sign in. And that sign in paper, I know it sounds silly, but you want to be able to track, keep up with every day, and making
yeah.
sure you have a sign in sheet is probably golden. So those are my 3.
I love that.
Gotcha,
I love
gotcha.
that.
And Judith, what are your 3? Give us your 3.
Yeah, Zoom makes it easy because they have to they have to register. We capture their information when they register. The 3 things I would say, I think I'm looking at it more as an organizer, and my experience with our own blockchain clubs at Morgan and Bowie and Norfolk. We've got a couple of them up and running right now. And I think the first step, I would go the other way, which is to just recruit everybody on campus. We've got 7,000 students at Morgan. We sent out a blast email to everyone, and we pulled in people. Not just, don't limit yourself to the business school or to just computer science or engineering, but the whole campus. We've had people in biotechnology who are really interested in this, because I think that blockchain technology is going to affect the entire, everywhere, all parts of the economy. And I would also say that blockchain clubs should work with recruiters, because just like you just said, we're finding that recruiters are banging down our door because they're looking to increase their diversity. And we've had a few programs where recruiters, not just to interview people, but to actually just give pointers, give ideas. How do you work in this space? How do you how do you network virtually? That was a big one last week. But also, blockchain clubs can do a lot in the area of getting students to do extracurricular things, getting them to do certification programs, like getting badges, getting things so that they have that credential to put on their resume. When they're out there and they're looking for a job, they're looking for an internship, they can point to, hey, I'm a certified blockchain, whatever. But it really goes far. It really goes far. And like you just said, know the language, know the lingo, teach people the basics again, so they can be excited about what they're the field they want to go into, and when they're talking to prospective employers, this is really important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think we have a perfect mix of companies looking for diversity, because on average, companies who are diverse make 33% more. And then you have students looking for jobs in an industry that is brand new. So we have this perfect mix, and I'm glad you all were here to speak about HBCU, blockchain, and FinTech groups in order to create that pipeline forward. And I want to finish up here with one question for each of you, and I'll start with you, Judith. What type of solutions in the future are possible to get students to join and to get these students into these positions in the blockchain industry?
Going forward, we've been doing a lot of pitch competitions. So really getting especially Black students to use their creativity, because we, as you probably know, small businesses are the engine of driving employment growth. And becoming your own business owner and your own boss is definitely the way to go. And because these ideas are so new and the technology is so new, we're getting students to really think like entrepreneurs and come up with their own ideas. We do pitch competitions. We get local business owners. We've gotten some venture capitalists involved to let students pitch their ideas and just encourage them to go out there. We've got one at Stillman. We did a pitch competition where one of the judges is working now with the winning team to actually create a business and find funding for it. So I think there's a lot of not just Big Blue, but really looking at startups and being your own startup. Yes. I think that, yeah.
Absolutely. And in the future, we definitely will see more of that. And Sinclair, if you will, let us know what are some future solutions to increase membership and to get students into these blockchain companies.
Yeah, I think what Sister said was the truth. I think, unfortunately, or just the reality is, the blockchain industry is just as racist as the rest of the technology space. The reason why we don't see more inclusion because they've been excluding us. So if we're kind of clear that they're excluding us, we could either wait for them to change or we could actually change it. And I think just as you and many of us have actually started our own companies, I think what Judy has said is that actually having more of us go back and connecting our young people with opportunity. Most of the solutions, just as Judy talked about, even in the Virgin Islands or any place, a lot of these solutions that we find in our communities need our technical understanding. When I was at Howard, we thought not being able to catch a cab because they were racist was a political science problem, but in actuality, it was a computer science problem that was resolved in a lot of ways by rideshare. So we use that same concept with our organization. I Love Black People. We're even taking blockchain and when I start talking about blockchain, don't forget about these second and third layers. We really are bullish on Lightning. And I think there's still so much, especially we're talking about transaction speed, transaction costs. There's some real opportunities, and we shouldn't be trying to just reinvent some wheels. There's some actually amazing wheels that just need something built on top of it so we can ride on out. But definitely entrepreneur, like you said. Awesome.
Entrepreneurship, definitely. And we have to change the mindset, right? You have to get students to start thinking, hey, you shouldn't just be learning to get a job. You can also start your own. Maybe have a unicorn company. And in the tech world, the HBCU student body and population is sorely needed. So to follow up, we have local communities, we have collegiate level, but what role will corporate sponsors play in increasing the amount of students and the pipeline of students at historically Black colleges and universities? And Judith, I want to ask you first, how will this corporate sponsorship affect the FinTech groups?
They're like, we have Ripple, which not only is sponsoring us, but they've created a university blockchain research initiative where they're working with like 39 universities all over the world to develop, as you say, the pipeline. They want that freshness, the research, the innovation, the good ideas, and they're looking to hire people. And we've talked to other companies as well. We've talked to Accenture and Visa and IBM, and a lot of these companies are wanting to invest money in developing their future, and they realize that this is a brand new industry. It's very disruptive technology, and they need people who are savvy about this stuff. And I think HBCUs can get a leg up on all of this by just jumping on these opportunities. And someone said last summer, a lot of companies wrote a lot of checks about wanting to increase diversity and, seats at the table. Let's be, bring your authentic self to work. So I think our HBCU graduates and our interns can do a lot to change the face of the tech industry, high tech in general, and bring their authentic selves to work. And I think that these companies need that because they need that perspective to be able to move forward and make a difference.
So Sinclair, what do you think the role of corporate sponsorship will play in historically Black colleges and universities, blockchain groups?
I think, like Judy said, it's definitely a part of the puzzle that we need to solve. And I think as it relates to funding, the corporate sponsors will do a lot, especially, if they use it in a way that allows these creative young people to develop ideas that could even be companies that they subcontract to. So I think the relationships with the students could be in many, it could be actually a straight hire and actually hire someone, or it could literally be in ways creating incubators that allow some of these great ideas to be developed, and their first client would be one of these large corporations. So I think as we explore the different relationship and types, we can really see some opportunities. And since this is such an early, there's no 30-year veterans in it. So it really does, like Sister said, gives us a leg up because literally we're all starting off with like just 2 days in. So definitely awesome.
Oh yeah. So if you're a corporate sponsor and you're looking at HBCUs, two things: money, exposure. And that's two great ways to help start these blockchain groups and sustain them long term. Judith, Sinclair, thank you for coming onto the show. I appreciate you for joining me on Community Crypto today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, how can corporate groups help these blockchain groups at HBCUs? Next, we'll get our answer from the head of crypto at Visa, Kai Sheffield.
So financial news right now, and I go back and take a step to the internet, where now we can see that people can self-publish, they can read do-it-yourself videos and learn about stock trading, sure. We're being inundated with information, and so we can choose how we want to consume news. Live, on demand, we can have it in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We're also being inundated, however, by a lot of misinformation out there. So it's ever the more important to have credible news sources. That's what CoinDesk seeks to do.
My next guest is Kai Sheffield, the head of crypto at Visa, which has been featured in the news lately for their work in the crypto community. Welcome to the show, Kai.
Great to be here, Azif.
Oh yeah, glad to have you. So let's talk. So first, how were you introduced to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? What was sort of the light bulb moment for you?
Oh man. So I think it kind of started with, in college, I was a sociology major, which I really explained as like, it's the study of the obvious, trying to explain the way that the world is today. And, in about probably 2017, when I started learning about Bitcoin, it really stood out that this is the sociology of money. I realized that, I didn't understand what money was. And so to try and understand what Bitcoin is, you had to try and understand what money was. So I thought that was absolutely fascinating, that everyone cares about money. They want to know, they need money, they use money. Bitcoin is kind of this area that makes you obsessed with just the concept of what money is. And so that was really the light bulb.
Oh yeah, and I know a lot of people, once they figure that out, they change their way of thinking, go down that rabbit hole. I'm definitely one of those people. I'm sure you are as well. But who are some of the people who helped that journey, who kind of pushed you along or sort of influenced you to stay in the Bitcoin and crypto space?
So I think I was really fortunate that, I had a number of friends that we kind of all went down the rabbit hole together. And I think it was something that, it's really hard and intimidating by yourself. If you don't have anyone to ask questions to, you could just get lost of where to go, what to believe, what not to believe. So I was living in a house in San Francisco with 3 good friends, and we were all kind of learning about crypto together and then sharing kind of what we learned and helping each other. And so, they've all kind of gone on to work in the industry in some way. And it's been awesome kind of having a group to learn together.
Oh yeah, gotta have a tribe, and it's better in groups. And that is the theme for our show, discussing HBCU blockchain groups and FinTech groups. So being the head of crypto at Visa, having the good news about helping the Black community, what would you like to see to help foster the growth of these groups at historically Black colleges and universities around the country?
Yeah, I think education is key, and to kind of find ways to appeal to people who have a number of different interests and just haven't been exposed to crypto before. And so I think kind of first, making sure people are aware that there are a lot of ways that you can participate and get involved, even if you're not an engineer. There are opportunities around marketing. There are opportunities around business development. And so I think with HBCUs, I'd love to personally figure out, what can we do as an industry to make sure that we're providing resources and access to understand all of the opportunities that crypto brings, in ways that Black communities can be able to both participate in owning crypto as well as participate in the crypto industry.
Oh yeah, education's first, brother. I believe that. And one of the things that can help foster that along, we talk about corporate sponsorship. Do you think that will pick up as more blockchain groups are created and sort of create a pipeline to these companies?
Yeah, I think there have to be resources and kind of, but it's more important than just money. It's how can you make sure that there are mentors, that there are people that are in the industry that are spending their time and that they're helping people that are interested in breaking into crypto with what are the paths to get there. And so I'm spending my time personally looking at how can we build communities to introduce Black people into different opportunities in the crypto industry, as well as connect Black people already in the crypto industry. So we've spent a lot of time around how to build these networks and then start to support them.
Oh yeah, love it. And you just mentioned you don't have to be an engineer. You can be an entrepreneur, you could be an artist. And speaking of art, I wanted you to delve into a little bit of the possibility of NFTs being a big part of these blockchain groups and the crypto community as a whole. What do you think about NFTs in the Black community?
I think NFTs are absolutely amazing. And so the way I like to explain it is crypto started as really a new asset and a new form of money in Bitcoin. And now it's been evolving to create the ability to create new assets that weren't assets before. And so, digital art was very hard to collect. It was very hard to be able to sell. Now you have, talented artists that can tokenize their art and reach a global collector base. And so, I think, Black creators, create global internet culture. And now NFTs are a way that they can monetize them. So I've been really excited personally as a collector to get to meet and collect work from amazing Black artists. And we're seeing a movement develop where, it's not just there happens to be kind of one or two. There is a Black crypto art movement building on top of these new technologies like non-fungible tokens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, all of these markets that are available, you can't deny the fact that this will be here in the future. I think we both agree, none of this stuff is going away. It'll only be built on. So we have to develop the younger generation. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was recently Visa was in the news for their work on the neobank, which focused on getting crypto in the Black community. And I wanted to ask, what are some of the tools that they are providing to help in the community?
Yeah, so the partnership with First Boulevard was really came about, when we got to know, Donald Hawkins, the amazing, founder and CEO behind it. And, when First Boulevard came to Visa, they weren't just looking at Visa, how can you help us issue a card? He really asked us, how can you help us build wealth for Black America? And being kind of an entire financial platform, they felt that Bitcoin was an important asset to make available and accessible to Black communities. And so what we did is worked with Donald to figure out how can we come up with a new product and service for First Boulevard to be able to get access to Bitcoin through a set of Visa APIs. And so, we're helping them connect into custodians and exchanges like Anchorage to be able to make Bitcoin available. And then we're also partnering around financial education. So we don't think that you could just put a new asset class in front of someone without explaining what it is and why you should care about it, and how it fits into a broader portfolio. So we're really excited to work together to try and explain crypto and use crypto to also explain other financial concepts that we think could be a gateway to financial literacy.
Oh yeah, and I love it. Like you said, the gateway to financial literacy is education. We keep going back to that, and again, at the college level, that is very important. So I did want to say or ask, can you see a future where Visa may support some of these HBCU blockchain groups going forward, either with education, with funding, or with resources?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a personal priority for me to figure out how can we make sure that we are embedding diversity and inclusion into our products, into our team, and into the company. And I think that being able to partner with organizations across HBCUs is a fantastic way to do that. So I'm excited to find ways that we can support and highly encourage other companies across the crypto industry to really look at a lot of the talent coming out of HBCUs that is passionate and interested in working in crypto, and create bridges and paths to help them get there.
Oh yeah, I love it. And if we're going to build the future, it has to be diverse. And speaking of the future, I want to throw a fun question out there for you, Kai. The year is 2030, all right? So 2030 may have flying cars, maybe on Mars, but what is your vision of crypto specifically, and how will Visa be involved?
I think in crypto time, 10 years is, you just can't even comprehend.
It's like 30, right?
I think in general, we're seeing this convergence where the lines between FinTech, banking, and crypto are all starting to blur. We're seeing crypto companies that kind of started as just exchanges to buy and sell crypto are now looking to come out with payment products. They're looking to issue debit cards. And then on the other side, we're seeing banks and financial institutions that have been providing payment products start to look into supporting crypto within their platforms. And so we see Visa's role as the bridge. Visa's been around for 60 years. We were kind of built on the foundation of the electronic movement of money. And now that we see kind of new forms of money and ways that money is evolving with crypto, we think it's really important that our products and solutions can evolve with it, and that we can help both new clients plug into the existing payments ecosystem and help our existing clients kind of plug into the new crypto ecosystem. So we're really excited about the opportunity for Visa to be the bridge between both.
Oh yeah. Yeah, glad to hear that, Kai. And again, like I said before, in the future, we don't know what the future holds. We do know crypto will be here, NFTs. But one last question for you, Kai, before you get out of here. How much Bitcoin do you own?
So I can't speak to personal holdings. I think I've encouraged people for a long time to kind of first invest in learning and take the first step of try and understand what Bitcoin is. And use these products. And I think what's interesting about Bitcoin is it's incredibly accessible. That you can buy $5 of Bitcoin and be able to experience kind of how do you hold Bitcoin? How do you transfer Bitcoin? And I think that the more that people kind of get comfortable with small amounts in learning, that there are a lot of other opportunities that it leads to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, that was a trick question, people. I just wanted to make sure people realize in this space, never tell people how much Bitcoin you have. But yeah, public or private, you never want to let it go. But just a fun question there. And I guess I can finish up here. Again, you stated the education portion. What types of things are you looking forward to for Visa to be involved in as far as education or with startups in the tech world? What are you looking forward to?
So I think on the startup side, what we've tried to do is create easier ways for startups to engage directly with Visa. And so we have the FinTech Fast Track program where startups can apply and be able to work directly with the contact at Visa to walk them through how do you issue a card. And I think that for many crypto companies, that was kind of a mystery of like, does Visa want to work with me? What's the path? Who do I have to work with? And so we're trying to do a lot around creating programs to make it easier. And then at the same time, I think, creating more education and tools for our clients to be able to explain crypto to their consumers. And I think every bank in the world, they have consumers that are interested in crypto. And so it's important that banks can have tools both to provide access to crypto and provide education around crypto. So we're really focused on providing that.
Absolutely. And I thank you for bringing that up, the FinTech Fast Track. And again, I want to thank you, Kai Sheffield, the head of crypto at Visa. Thank you for coming on to the show, brother.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of Community Crypto. We are building a global community with local crypto groups. So be sure to tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on CoinDesk TV. See you then.